up, guys?
What is going on, guys? So today, it's been a couple weeks, but we got a lot more work done in the engine bay. I got my coolant reservoir in, my power steering reservoir in. I got some brake lines connected to the master cylinder. We also have moved things around in the garage, moved the shelf over here, and moved the whole paint can shelf right there. We were cleaning out the garage a little bit, but today we're actually going to be building the LS1, the block. We got it back from the machine shop. It's super clean, everything's refreshed. We got all the parts here on the bench ready to go inside. So the crank did get repolished, so that's all good to go. I got the milling oil pump, I got my rod bearings and my main bearings. I have my cam. It is a 278/282 with a 600 lift. Main caps are over there, they're all clean. I just got to throw some brake cleaner on them. Pistons are all set and ready to go. We got the piston rings on, filed down. I actually ended up taking these to the machine shop to get filed down because I don't have a piston ring filer, and to have them put them on the actual pistons.
All the LS angles. Look at that.
Which end goes in first? So this end. So here's the cam. We're going to lube it up. So what you're going to want to do when you put the cam in is be careful. Make sure you don't score or scratch any of the cam bearings while you're putting the cam in. So now that we got the engine flipped over, it's going to be a lot easier to guide the cam. Okay, cam is fully seated in there. Remember, guys, this is my first time rebuilding an engine, so if you guys see anything that I mess up, please comment down below so I can go back and fix it. I have the cam retainer right here. We're going to put that on for the next step. Now we got the cam retainer on and the bolts all torqued down. Now we're going to put the crankshaft in. Now I have to put the main bearings in the block first, then put assembly lube on them, and then we can put the crankshaft in. So we got all of the main bearings in. Now it's time to put the crank in. I cleaned it and made sure there was no dust or debris inside of the oil holes. So now we're going to put this in. Crank's in.
Good.
Bearings are all lubed, crank is in, and now we got one main cap on. We got the bearing inside the main cap, and now we're going to put the rest of the bearings and the main caps in. And I have over here ARP main studs, and we're going to torque them down, see where we are from there. Got all the main caps on, and it spins like a charm. We are going to put the ARP studs on right now and torque them down and see if it still spins. If it doesn't spin, then that means you have a problem and you have to redo it again. Now on the directions for the inner studs, it's the longer one, so check to make sure all your studs are there and to make sure you know which ones are the longer ones and the shorter ones. The inner studs shown on the diagram are the longer studs, and the outer studs are the shorter ones for right here. Now when you're installing these studs, be sure to double check the threads, because that is a different thread pitch than that. So the bigger thread pitch always goes into the actual block, and then the smaller threads are for the nut that goes on the top. I now have all the studs attached to the main caps, and they're all lubed up with the ARP lubricant, assembly lubricant. And now we're going to put the fasteners or the nuts on the studs. So now we're going.
Guys?
You just had to ruin it. So now we're going to torque these down. So it's the next day, and we got Maddie over here. She's helping me out. We have the first pass for torquing on the studs and the nuts, fastener thingies. And now we're going to time lapse the rest of the torquing.
Don't you know I'm still standing better than I ever did, looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid, and I'm still standing after.
So now we got the main caps fully torqued down, and we can flip the engine, put the pistons in. So now the next step is we have to clean these surfaces, then put the bearings on the end caps and the actual rods itself. So once you've gotten your bearings on your rod and cap, you can align your piston rings to the book where it shows the diagram right there. We have this piston ring compressor right here that we're going to be using from AutoZone, your finest. So we ended up getting the first two pistons inside the block. They're all torqued down and it's spinning nice and free. It's about 9 o'clock at night right now. I have work tomorrow, so we're only going to do the next two, and then on Wednesday, today's Monday, we're going to do the rest of them.
The other half.
What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday. And Maddie already fucked up. What'd you do?
I broke the piston ring compressor.
What was that?
I broke the piston ring compressor.
Nice. So, today we're going to be finishing putting the pistons inside the block. We have 4 more to do. And then after that, we're going to see if everything rotates correctly. And then the next step, I believe after that, is the timing sprocket and chain, and then the oil pump.
Touch with the ground, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you. Smell like a sound, I'm lost in a crowd, and I'm hungry like the wolves. Straddle the line.
So that's how you put the 5th piston in. We did all the first 5. You just want to bang it in with a mallet really lightly on the top of the piston head. And then you want to lube up the bearings and put the main cap on when it's over the crank. Now the torque I have set for these rod cap bolts is 15 foot-pounds, and then once they're torqued down, you want to bring it to an 85 degree with another ratchet. Now I'm not going to individually film the rest of them, but that's basically how you do it for all of them. And also each rod that you put on and torque down, you want to make sure you spin the crank after, just to make sure it's fully functioning the correct way. Okay, so we did end up getting all of the pistons in, which is a huge accomplishment. Maddie's doing the honors of turning it over, and they all are spinning free and smooth. Now I'd say the next step after you put all the pistons in is to put your crank position sensor on, and then after that you want to put the cam sprocket and timing chain on. So with the cam here, it has this little locating pin. You want to stick it in that hole right there. So go ahead, Maddie. Once you've got everything lined up correctly, this little pinhole right here and that hole right there. Now I ended up buying a melting oil pump, and that part number for that is 10295. Now once you've got the oil pump torqued down, you want to make sure you do prime it, but I did put the front cover on and I put a new seal in it. I have it loose right now only because when you torque these down, you have to line the cover up with the bottom of the block. What is going on, guys? It has been a very long time. I think it's been a month actually, but we've actually made some moves. I ended up taking the engine off the stand and putting it on this not very sturdy table. We got the windage tray all bolted down, torqued down. I got this GTO pickup tube. Yes, I did prime the oil pump, don't worry. I got the front main seal. I think we discussed that last time. I also went to my local Chevy dealer and I got the rear main seal. I got the whole rear main seal cover on. I also got that gasket that's in there. All these bolts are torqued down. I also picked up an oil pan gasket. And last but not least, we got the Canton oil pan. Now the only thing that sucks about this $500 oil pan is that the pickup tube, it doesn't quite go in to the sump exactly how it says it does or how it's supposed to fit in there. So I had to do some slight modifications to the pickup tube. I actually had to bend this back, bend this, the actual tube right here down, and then this tube back a little bit for it to actually fit. So right now I'm going to be putting that RTV on, all four corners, and then the oil pan gasket, and then the actual oil pan. Well, I ended up getting the oil pan on. I put the RTV in all four corners right here, and then the gasket on, and the oil pan. And now I have to torque down the oil pan bolts. So I've got my oil filter relocation kit adapter all torqued down, and now that should do it for the block, except for the harmonic balancer and the water pump and all the accessories, obviously. Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up in plastic, and I think I'm going to be done for the night. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, how I did on the build, and if I messed up anything, please just let me know down in the comments below. Thanks, guys. Peace.